Good morning. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Why do I have a link? Oh. All right, so we're gonna continue working on the mod here. I gotta get achievements ironed out, which they pretty much are, and I gotta decide how you are going to make rune stones. I have a couple more recipes to put in, and then that is it. Then the alpha's ready. So I was testing some of the unlocks here, and as I'm kind of going through, I'm putting in the triggers for each thing. Now it looks like actual achievements here. Peer beyond the veil, use a rusty dust to unlock magic. Things that are not unlocked, and they're going to be yellow. And then text is kind of grayed out a little bit. So this is kind of what we need to focus on. Technically, I guess I could put in the next trigger because I just made it to where you can complete this. So let's go outside. There we go. Let's get a flat platform. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to test this a couple times. I'm going to test it once to make sure that it works, and then I'm going to put the trigger in to unlock the achievement, and then we'll test it again. So I need regular torches. All right, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Put one of these in the middle. Then we throw out 1, 2, 3, 4. Cash transmutation. A basic wand. So this should trigger. Ah, it did not. Wait, do I have everything right? I don't. That's regular Arcanus. Let's go into another world. Let's go into the test world to make sure I got this right. I think I need to finish it out. Single player. Come on. Load. And I think I need to come up with a new ritual pattern for creating runestones. Possibly. So I did some work here. Let's see. So these rituals, yeah, it takes torches, one of these. Put that around, and then it should take 4 Arcanus. And it should create that. So we're going to have to troubleshoot that. You know what? I did make some changes to it late last night. I used to have it to where it was like a stack of 2. It may still be looking for a stack of 2. But I figured, so I have a couple things here. And my initial thought was a kind of choose your own path, right? You have creation rituals, destruction rituals, and conversion rituals. But rune stones are going to be kind of unique, right? Like I feel like you should have multiple avenues, right? Like if you have a bunch of mana lanterns, or you know what I mean, like mana, dark mana torches, whatever it is. I think there should be multiple ways depending on what path you want to take, right? To like get the next runestone. So I came up with this, right? So you can make them out of creation, destruction, or conversion rituals. I don't know if I should do that or if I should have it to where it takes like any kind of mana torch. And then just like a unique pattern, kind of like the corruption and the purification rituals. I'm not sure. I'm like on the fence about that. I was thinking about that today. Would be nice to have just like one kind of ritual. So let's test this out. Let me turn these torches back on. Transmutation relights burnt out torches, in case people didn't know. There we go. So I should be able to throw 1, 2, 3, 4. I changed the numbers. I never changed. Okay, let's save and quit. I need to delete the configs. I think I changed some of the config numbers. I think I toned it down. I think it was 6 Arcanus before. Let's see. Let's go into Vintage Story Data. Mod config. Rustbound Magic. Delete. We're going to rebuild. If it doesn't work this time, I will hop back in and then we'll turn on some debugs. Gross. Can't wait to actually play with the mod. Unfortunately, in the beginning, though, I'm not going to be able to play too much because I feel like there's going to be like a lot of feedback in the beginning. Right? It's going to be like, oh, spell balance, mana balance, experience balance. That's kind of stuff that I'm going to have to like get on fast, right? Like, oh, this spell costs too much mana. It's like, all right, well, I'm going to have to change it, rebuild it, push out the new update. Okay, so it still didn't work. I know it should be 4 Arcanus right now. Let's look here. So if it's the stone, let's click this. And look at this. Okay, so, aha. It was still looking for the block above. There we go. That should fix it. Fireball. You know what? You know what? I'm so confident we're going to leave this world because I want to save all that stuff. And we're going to go into the other test world. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum. Wing, 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 wing. All right, let's try it again. There we go. So that's how you're going to make the obelisk. Let's put this back down. Now I got to put an achievement trigger with it. So that's it. It's a creation ritual. There, clean this up a little bit. There we go. All right, so let's put the achievement unlock trigger on this. And I built this so it's easier behind the scenes now. Now I send everything as a packet for the achievements. So all I have to do is come into here, and this is the actual achievement. So right at the end, right, when we place the block down, we're going to do rm helpers dot send packet player magical achievement unlock. And now we're going to need the world, which should be world in. We're going to need the achievement, which will be an enum here, achievement triggers dot. And we want to unlock essence and ley lines dot to string. And then the last thing is a bool to see if there should be sounds and particles. That's going to be true. So with that simple line, it should unlock the achievement for us. All right, let's try it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait a minute. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. I was going to say, that's an ugly box right up there. All right, so it did that. You know what? It did not trigger. Oh. All of this stuff. I may have to approach this differently. So when you send a packet, it goes from client to server. I don't think... Yeah, this is server side only. Shoot. That's okay. This is what I'll do instead. We will come into here. I will come down to my packets. So basically, this is what we have to play. So let's go back into World Magic. Into here, we're going to make a public static void. There we go. I will copy all of this, paste. And I'll say instead of send packet, send from server. And I will put in the achievement string. Which would be this. And then the entities. So instead of world, let's do entity player. Player. So we'll pop the player in. We'll do player in. And then we will push this through sound and particles. So this packet should do the same thing just on the server side. Just to make sure it only triggers on the server, we are going to put this if statement in here, and I will say if this server, if this is server, I guess we still need the world in here, huh? So it should look like this. Cut that out, paste that in. That way, if I don't want this to run on the client side ever, because it's not going to sync anything up. Like, you won't get the particles and the sound effects and everything else. I still may not get the particles and sound effects here because I am triggering this from only the server. So I may have to come up with a fancier way of doing this, which may actually end up being a secondary check to see if it's completed, and then, you know, just maybe I could do that as like a bool check. Be like, yep, this was triggered correctly. Insufficient mana? What? It's like I'm a noob. All right, let's try this. Oh, wait. We got to copy this. Go into our ritual and paste that in. There we go. And we got to put the player in. That would be player in. Copy. And we'll do it as. So entity player as player in. There we go. Fireball. All right, let's place this back down. Torch, 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 torch. Draw our patterns. Oh, I'm out of mana. You know, I'll meditate. Why not? Maybe if I shake this, maybe all the sugar's on the bottom. Ah. Whoops, forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4. I really want lightning strikes to come down. I heard the sound. You have unlocked the achievement, the power of creation. And there we go. So the power of creation has now been unlocked. Now I have the grace of light, the depths of destruction, and runes of power achievements that have opened up for me. Create a basic runestone, and it looks like we now have the Essence and Leylines tab over here. I still need to make that guide, but it's important that I actually have the tab. All right. So now you have to create a runestone. This is where I'm going to run into it. Let's save and quit. Let's go into our creative world. So I guess my first question here is, should I have individual recipes for each? Should I have individual recipes for each runestone? Or should there be multiple recipes for each type of ritual, like basic ritual, to make the same kind of runestone? I kind of like the idea more of having like one kind of unique pattern for the runestones. But I'm not sure. Because I did want to change these as well. So the ritual of creation, I think I want to be this pattern. Because it's like a plus sign, right? It's healing. That's my thought. For the destruction ritual, I want it to be something else. I guess I should do another large-scale ritual for creating each runestone. So let's make some space for it. I wonder if I should copy this and like move it over here. Hmm. You know, I'm gonna commandeer this space. Nope, that's a ritual of containment, ritual of soul harvest, ritual of ore bringer. Let me guess. Yeah. Ritual of the nether. All right, we're gonna make another big strip here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Break all this. All right, I think that's good. Pop that right there. It's one too long, isn't it? There we go. All right, let's fill in this space. There we go. Turn that back off. We'll put the light in the center, which I think that's the center. Sweet. Right in the first try. All right, so what do I want this pattern to look like? I guess let's have fun with it. Where's my chalk? Here we go, magic chalk. All right. You know, let's work on the other ritual first, the corruption ritual. Start kind of getting rid of some stuff here. What if I put these towards more like the center? Oh, you know what? Let's do this. There, we'll do something like that. All right, now let's think about what this is going to look like. Maybe make it a little wider. Have it come in. Maybe this will be the first ritual that I put in support for like other shapes. I feel like maybe it's too busy. Like an hourglass, huh? I mean, it's kind of cool. Maybe. I don't know. So this would have to be positional though, right? Like would that be too hard? All my other rituals, it's like a symmetrical pattern. Maybe I should keep the idea of like a symmetrical pattern. Because if this is like off to the side, like if this is where the front is, this wouldn't work. Juno does seem a little busy. Simple is always nice and clean, especially if it draws the eyes to the crystal torches. Yeah. Yeah. I just didn't want to repeat the same pattern. Although maybe I should. Is there a problem with repeating the same pattern? These actually need regular torches somewhere too. I don't like that. I'm just looking at that. I don't like that. I don't like that either. I gotta find a place for these torches. You know what? Why don't I put the torches where these crystals are. I'm not sure if I'm going to have you use the crystals. I mean, maybe that would be a little better. See, this is my first problem I'm thinking of. In the old mod, I had the same pattern that could change it from a dark or a light nexus. Now, I did a play on like, okay, depending on the time of day, right? Like if it's during daytime hours, you would get the light. If it's during the night, you'd get the darkness. But then to supplement that, because you shouldn't always have to wait for light or dark. Then I made it to where you could use the mana torches of a certain color to turn it into whatever you want, and then you could flip flop. I don't want that because mana torches are like further down the road. Like you unlock mana torches over here now instead of immediately. So you don't have mana torches to make this. So I gotta figure that out. Now I do have these radiant gems and I have shadow gems, right? So I could have it to where you could throw so many of those in here. That could be the difference in the catalog. You know what? That's the way I'm gonna do it. Sometimes I think I just need to talk things out. There we go. So yeah, you'll just throw out so many of those. And it doesn't matter if it's like daytime or nighttime. Yeah, this was a little too busy. I mean, it's cool, like a little hourglass. It's time. It's not symmetrical. That's all I need to add is like orientation to rituals. I'd be getting so many people being like, I think this ritual's broken. I have everything set up right. Right? It'll be like, this will be like on the side, and it's like, ooh, well, I want the bad news or the worst news. All right, so I think this will be what it is. So I still have to come up with a pattern for runestones, right? So Juno, since you're here, let's make it daytime. There we go. Good enough. So my thought was last night I'm gonna bring back the rituals of creation, ritual of destruction, and the ritual of conversion. Right? Those are gonna be the easy to use rituals, kind of caveman, primitive, kind of rituals. I want you to make runestones out of rituals too. You're not going to make many runestones, and they're kind of valuable, so I think it'd be cool to have that magical aspect. Now, my initial thought was, well, I don't want to put them just in rituals of creation, because then ritual of creation becomes, it becomes pretty powerful when it comes to actually making things that progress you through the mod. I mean, you already use a ritual of creation to make your obelisk, which I'm fine with. I'm cool with that. But that being the case, I didn't want to put runestone on top of that. So I thought, well, why don't I make 3 different sets, right? So no matter what you use, creation, destruction, or conversion, you can turn, you can complete the ritual to get the next runestone, right? So one's not more powerful than the other. Same thing with the top, right? Like if you want to go down the path of darkness and you have a lot of dark mana torches, you could do a ritual of destruction here, right? The advanced version of it to get like your next stage up, right? Or if you're a neutral mage or whatever. Like, I don't know if I should go this route and have multiple ways to make these, or if I should have a dedicated, kind of like these patterns over here, right? Like a dedicated kind of larger scale, this is how you make this block kind of thing. Like one way, and maybe it could take any kind of lantern, it could take any mix match of mana torches. But it's not one of the basic rituals. What do you think? Interesting. Yeah, I get what you're going for the 3 paths, but they're all the same runestone. Yeah, it's all the same runestone. It's just a different way to make it. The idea with the runestone is that you're like imbuing magic essence into it. You know, like it's just like the primordial rust, right? It doesn't matter what you put into it to empower it, it's still going to be the same kind of runestone. But if that's the case, I mean, I may want to do something like that with this ritual, right? You know, to get your obelisk. Maybe it shouldn't be a ritual of creation. Maybe that should be its own kind of thing too. Right? You know, whatever the smaller scale is, like, but then it's like, do I have to make it that complex, right? Because that's like another what is this going to be? This row is going to be miscellaneous, you know, or whatever, ritual of random stuff, right? Like it's hard to say, you know, because it's like I just want all this to make sense before I put it in people's hands, because it's so much harder to make changes after someone has this, right? Because they're going to be those people being like, come on, man, it totally made sense having everything in the ritual of creation. Why'd you take that away? This mod is horrible now. You know what I mean? I just don't want that stuff. And if people don't have it, you know, don't have the chance, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think as long as the user is likely to understand it, would they be confused by like 9 types of the same runestone? Yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like, well, which one do I do? Even if I explain it all out and say, yeah, you know, it doesn't matter how you do this, this is the result you get. Because it looks confusing like this, right? Because it's a lot of stuff, but really think of it as one of 3 things, right? If you look at the rituals of creation, it's all the same pattern. So really, once you know, like, oh, this is the ritual of creation stencil, then whatever block I put inside with whatever the reagent would be, casts transmutation, and it completes that ritual, right? It's the same thing for like whatever this ritual would be, right? I place whatever random block in there. It's still the same outline. You know, like this was going to be how I was going to make a sanctum, right? Pop a spell forge in there, you know, bam. You know what I mean? Like it's the same layout. Although it gets a little confusing with the ritual of conversion, because like I'm putting something in to change logs directly into resin, which it's just a different pattern, right? With the torches on the same side. And then for the ritual of like the fire clay into blue clay, because they're items and it's not like a placeable block, I had to put a single torch in the middle, right? So, I mean, either way, I'm kind of breaking the pattern. Like this right here, right? To change the sapling into something else. This is what it is. Like, I'm trying not to be super confusing, but I also want, you know, I want people to like use this stuff. You know what I mean? Like I want it to be fun. You shouldn't have a degree in it, but I mean you should know like ritual of creation is this pattern. Right? Put your torches here. You know, if it's a ritual of creation where you're converting an item into a block or another item and you're throwing an item out, then, you know, you put your 1 torch in the middle. I like it. Depends on the type of consistency in your design you're going for too. Here's an example in my head. I could see an obelisk being creation, but runestone being conversion because the block remains mostly the same. Just gets carved, embedded, infused. That, you know, that is a really good point. But then what would destruction be, right? Because like the ritual of creation is going to be valuable because obviously the obelisk is like the start of like everything, right? Like you create your obelisk and then you change that obelisk into one of your essence generators. You know, the runestone, that has a lot of uses on top of it in like making your essence generators better, right? So this, I could totally see it being just like a conversion ritual, but the OCD in me thinks like, okay, what about the destruction ritual? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Um, it's kind of like, what is creation versus conversion conceptually, and what do they mean to you, to the mod, to the lore? Yeah. So my thought was creation is tied to the celestial, right? To the light essence, right? This is creation. This is conversion. You know what I mean? And then destruction. That was the thought, right? So I'm trying to tie them back to this stuff, but then you will have more complex things. Like I'm breaking it out into like basic rituals and advanced rituals. So I'm thinking for these, like the ritual of recall, I think it may actually be like a talisman that you put in the center for like the recall talisman. Right, so you'll just like put it in the center. And then what I can do is piggyback off of my whole holding crouch and looking to see where things go. And then I can help you like stencil out and draw out your runes and put your right blocks everywhere. And then they'll have like the greater effects, like sending all players within 5 blocks to their recall points, right? You know, ritual of containment, trapping entities on the inside. So you can get this going, cast your spell, and trap all the enemies in the center. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like traps, I guess. But since I want to get this stuff in your hands early, that's why I was thinking, well, you know, light, neutral, and dark. So that's what each name means to me. And what I'm trying to convey in the mod. It's like one of these, because you're also going to attune to one of these essence types as well. So I just want to try and promote balance. It's an easy thing to overthink, and I'm in no place to tell you how to convey them. Ads, no. I'll wait to respond here. Ah, delicious. I shall wait patiently for you to come back. Those ads come at like the worst time, I swear. Those ads are the worst. There we go. I love how it's like an AoE. Doo-doo. Hmm. Yeah, I probably missed your question. Yeah, I stopped talking once you're like ads. So yeah, it's an easy thing to overthink, and I'm in no place to tell you how to convey them. Well, that's what that's kind of what I'm looking for. Is like obviously I'm not going to be like 100%, you know, but it's good to like it gives me something else to think about, right? Like a different point of view that I may not have. That's why I like doing modding streams. You know, it's like sure I get less actual modding done, but I get ideas that are going to be just as valuable, right? Because I'd rather not build something and then like most of the people kind of look at it and be like, well, why didn't you do it this way? And I'm looking at it and I'm like, shit, why didn't I do it that way? That's just what I'm trying to prevent. So it's yeah, and the trap's going to be cool. Like the advanced rituals, I want them to feel like their own spells. This stuff is going to be kind of like just manipulation, right? Of like blocks and items. The other stuff's going to be like utility based things. Like, the ritual of soul harvest damages all entities in an area. Any killed will drop a soul stone. You know what I mean? Like things like that are going to be, that's going to feel more magic-y. I love seeing the process and the way others try to think through the problem. Yeah, so that's my thing. Like my OCD in me says, okay, you know what? Ritual of creation, can make obelisks as their like big thing. That's cool. You know, the ritual of conversion. Okay, let's say that they can make runestones, right? But runestones are going to be useful 100%. You know, because if you think about it, these 2 blocks alone you'll use throughout the entire mod. You know, if you go down the neutral, you got to start with one. If you go through one of these, right? If you want a celestial prism, you have to use an obelisk. Same thing with the caps, right? Those upgrade caps, like you'll use those all the way down, no matter what path you go down. So the question's like, well, what can I give the ritual of destruction that's going to see the same like longevity, you know? And I don't think I have anything. Because if I'm looking here, it's like this is a polymorphic block anyways. So depending on what essence it has attached to it, it changes. So I don't really have like anything above that, right? I got this. I don't want to lock, you know, anything that has to do with making grimoires through it. Magical repair kit, you know, that's not really, and that's my problem. It's like, so my immediate thought is, well, should special things like the rune stones, right? Maybe like the obelisk as well. Should that be available no matter what type of ritual you use? Because really it's just a different rune pattern. And this is what I'm stuck on. It makes, like, in a way, it makes sense to, you know, to have like, okay, well, because again, this looks busy, but really it's the same thing, right? The same torches, the same, you know, like entry level stuff. If you want to do a creation ritual, you know, a destruction ritual or a conversion ritual, but I just want you to do a ritual to turn it into like an obelisk. Yeah, this is tough. So runestones are a very powerful thing, right? Yeah, absolutely. Like you use them to upgrade existing place structures and objects. For that reason, they could be more substantial or have a singular creation ritual that is very specific to them. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because the other option here is I have, you know, like I have a pattern like this, right? Larger scale. A pattern like this could be something unique, right? That you could get a runestone for. Hey, we Miss Winter, making obelisks. yes, I am on purpose this time. Hey, Zach, how's it going? Yeah, so Juno, this is kind of what I'm trying to decide, right? Should, you know, how I want you to use a ritual to create this stuff, but am I wrong in trying to do like a basic ritual of creation, destruction, and conversion? Like, should there be multiple things for like the staple stuff? You know, so for instance, like this, right? Create an obelisk. Like, maybe it doesn't matter which one you use. But then is that going to confuse people when they try and go further down and they're like, oh, well, I want to turn fire clay into blue clay, and they're trying to use like a destruction ritual to do that. So, I don't know. I guess that's the thing. I just don't know. I mean, you know, I'm thinking about it now too. Maybe it would make more sense to do. Maybe I just stick with the creation ritual to, you know, to get your obelisk. Maybe I can do the conversion ritual over here, right? Ritual of conversion, and then that can make like the upgrades here. And then destruction, I don't know. I may have to come up with something beefy for destruction. The only thing I have so far is making charcoal, which I think is going to be awesome. I don't know. This is kind of like the feedback that I need to know before I start taking things apart. You know what I mean? So I'll let that set and, like, you know, marinate a little bit. we're going to go back into this world. I do want to test from start to at least creating the ley lines, like unlocking the ley line essence. Do you maybe creation to make runestones, but modifying it in the future, upgrading this conversion? But then conversion becomes good later on too. It's a, I don't know, it's a tough one to get right. It's tough. All right, so I'm gonna reset my progress here, and I'm gonna show like what kind of things you can, like how things unlock here. So let me get the item out. I redesigned these, by the way, so I can just do that. Quick reload to get rid of my mana bar. Can you do any type of charcoals like coals? Well, you could turn stacks of firewood directly into charcoal. That's all you could do right now. So this is what everyone has unlocked in the beginning. So you have to harvest rift blooms from from flowers converted by rifts. You can also acquire a utility block. This is a standalone thing. My thought was making this progress. You're not a magic user. You know, you could still unlock these achievements, but these are like non-magical achievements. I actually don't have a trigger in for this. Acquire a utility block. Let's put that in fast. So I need to go into my blocks, utility, and I think I want this utility generic. I think I want uncollected. There we go. Oh, I already have it uncollected, huh? Maybe not. There we go. I just had it in the wrong place. All right, so I could do an uncollected, and then I can send this packet. And we're going to unlock the achievement for utility. All right, we're going to have to shut down the game. So this may fix it to where all you have to do is pick up a utility block and you'll get the achievement. So charcoal into coal might be possible. Maybe. Possibly. I would have to know what conversion rates to do to make it fair. And it stacks differently too, right? Because charcoal stacks in like a kind of dust. You know, like layers of dust. So it's like, what's a full stack of charcoal? All right, so I should be able to get an achievement by just picking up any utility block. We'll have to see. So there it is. Let's pull out the botanical matrix. That did not work. That did not work at all. Failure! Let me see if it even called this. rmrreferences.logger. I'll say here. Do that again. So, okay. Ooh, it said here. Let's do the side. Entity dot world dot side. I bet it's calling it only on the server and not the client. Which would make sense why this wouldn't have sent. Whoops. Server only. Barnacles. You know what? That's not a problem because I made that other one. So it would be dot send from server player magical achievement unlock. Let's put the player in here. I will say entity. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I'm going to put an if statement. I'm going to say if. I should probably do something in here too. I'm going to fix it here. I'm just going to say entity. Instead of player in, this will be entity in. And then I'm going to have to say entity in is entity player. Because I know in the mod I want to make NPCs. I want to make like golems or something to like be able to pick up items for you, and kind of like that the Thaumcraft golems. So I got to keep in mind that I don't want to try and trigger an achievement on an NPC, because that's probably going to be really bad. But I could do a quick search in here, and I can say if the entity is a player, then I can cast them to entity player and then run the achievement. Boom! All right, so that should be that. Let's go back to here. And now all I have to do is just put in entity. Entity, there we go. And I don't need an if statement there anymore. Let's shut down the game because I just changed the parameters of a method while the game was running. It's definitely going to be upset. So for that whole charcoal into coal, how much are we thinking? What should the conversion rates be? And my first question is a full stack of charcoal that you place on the ground. How big is that stack? Is it 32, 64, more than that? Oh, wait, what am I doing? I also want to get one of these. There we go. You have unlocked the achievement Magic for Everyday Use. And it's right there. I don't have a symbol on it yet, but it at least unlocked it. I don't know. Yeah, see, I don't know either. That's just kind of stuff that I would need to know. See, like that. So, oh, it looks like it tells me that's a stack of 16 charcoal makes that. So how much charcoal, how much coal should be made from 16 charcoal? That makes it still fair, right? This shouldn't be a no-brainer kind of infinite, loophole thing. It's got to be fair. So I guess black coal would be. The yield for each stack of 32 firewood is between 4 to 7 charcoal. The average yield of each stack is 5.5 charcoal. That's true. And the funny thing is, I did that as just like random numbers, expecting someone to say, oh, that's not worth it, or hey, that's pretty good. But I haven't really got that response. So that's where it stayed. The idea behind the lower number was the fact that you make it instantly, right? You could dig a pit and you could put your twigs and your wood and, your grass and everything on top of it and then light it and let it set for like a day in game while you do other things. Or you could do this ritual, miss some of that conversion, to just get immediate charcoal. You know, like an on-demand kind of charcoal, but at the price of not getting the full amount of charcoal that you would normally get if you did the right process. Now, what I'm looking at here is, and this is an interesting thing, if I look at like charcoal to black coal here, charcoal seems better. It doesn't burn as long, but it burns hotter, right? You get 1300. Black coal is 1200. But it lasts like a little longer than 2 times longer per piece. So is it really that much better? Yeah, right. Trade off of speed for yield. Yeah. Yeah, that was the thought there. I look at brown coal. Brown coal's 1100. Can you even, what's smelting temperature for coal or for copper? So I guess technically with all 3 of them you could do that. Well, I mean, I want brown coal. I mean, but that's 77 seconds, and then this is 84 seconds. So honestly, brown coal is kind of meh. Like, if I did the conversion, I would want it to be into black coal. It doesn't burn as hot, but it at least, 84 seconds, that's quite a bit. Anthracite is longest burn time. Yeah, look at that. Look at that burn time. That is coal. Right, that's coal done right. All right, so I mean, let's bring this down here, right? So, hey, Lieutenant. Hey, how's it going? It's going pretty well. We're kind of talking about more recipes here, more things to do. Talking about conversion right now because I have the Ritual of Destruction that turns charcoal into, or firewood into charcoal. And then we're talking about, okay, well, what's the next thing, right? What can I turn charcoal into? Weird. It's like going off to the side. It's unstable. So this is weird. So that's a stack of 16. You can't really stack this well, huh? It just kind of pours over to the side, black hole. Because the immediate thought, right, was it's just freaking all over the place. How are you going to stack these to do the ritual? You need a stack of 16. You know what? I guess I know how. You would like dig a hole, right? And you do something like that. There you go, stack of 16. So you'd have to like put a stencil up around it. All right, so let's try it. Let's try it. Black hole. Oh, see, look at that. It just auto-filled. So it would take 16 charcoal to make however much of this. I mean, I could do something stepping like that, and then 16 of this to make however much of like anthracite. I don't mind doing a conversion like this. I think it's a pretty good idea. Boop. Oh, wait, wrong thing. No, where'd my anthracite go? There we go, 16. Oh my god, look at what I did. That's what I get for just like, why isn't it working? Oh, because I was looking at it like this. I didn't realize it was going down the hill. Can I light this all on fire and get rid of it? Got a torch. Ignite. There we go. Fireball the chamber. Let the gods sort it out. I'll come back to that. Coal spill! Would be nice to have lots of conversions available again, even if they are not the best yield. Makes it fun and can have some tedium. Yeah, right. Like I think my Arcanus idea before was interesting. You know, like with batches, I think that made it better. But it's not. I don't think it was a good approach for an item that you need so heavily. You know, to where like the mod became like, oh, I have to do 1,000 of these, you know, these rituals to be able to do anything with magic. Wait, you can light it? Yeah, you can. It's hopefully it burns. It just goes away. But something like this, right? Like this is a good idea. Let's go back into this world. There we go. We're back in. Okay. So maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Okay, what if I do this? Instead of tying like ritual of conversion, destruction, and creation, what if I say like the ritual of obelisk, right? The ritual of runestone, the ritual of charcoal. You know, just kind of break it out, because I don't have a lot of ideas right now. I shouldn't build a system that I think is going to help me to like do, you know, 50 different types of rituals, right? So what if I don't put them in separate things and I give them all just like a simple little unique pattern, right? Because like this right here, maybe that's just the ritual of obelisk. You use regular torches anyways. We'll relight those torches. Boop. I love that I made transmutation do this. Like the little things. Boom. Right? And then something like this, maybe it's an enhanced version, right? So this is like the ritual of whatever I call it, right? Maybe I could call it like fuel, or I don't know, some kind of fuel ritual. So this could be step 1, and it could be just regular torches. And then step 2 may have to use like mana torches, right? To convert that, you know, to convert that stuff, right? So here, we'll do this. There's charcoal. There we go. Bam. Right, so maybe this is like a tier 2 version, right? So you're into like the blue magic. You're unlocking soul magic. You're starting to get tier 2 spells. Maybe you need like tier 2 for whatever that pattern is, right? You just change out your catalyst, and then bam, it turns this into like what was it? Black hole. And then maybe for the tier 3, that takes like the lanterns, right? That you could just kind of recharge. There we go, 16. And then this could make like your anthracite. Right, so it's like a progression, right? It's the ritual of making coal, but it goes beyond primitive caveman torches, right? And you can do more powerful things. Fancy torches seem cool. Yeah. It's so nice that transmutation relights torches. I use that so much. Yeah, me too, actually. I like that you could do this too, just like you could relight mana torches with it. Boop. Also, another thing you could do, if you have rusty dust, I made a way to where so if a non-magic user gets a mana torch, I wanted to give them a way to be able to reignite their stuff. So you could actually just use a rusty dust to ignite everything, to relight your mana torches. I tried to make the mana torches and the utility blocks like non-magic user friendly. Right? So if you're in a role-playing server and you have a mage on the server, but you don't want to do magic yourself, I mean, the mage will be able to trade with you like the botanical matrix to get your like greenhouse effect, right, in the open air. And you can get lighting sources from them that look cool, and then you yourself can grow rusty dust, right? You don't have to have magic unlocked to use a knife to harvest rusty dust. You just don't understand the whole magical aspect of the rusty dust, right? So yeah, and it's the same thing too. Like with the here, I'll give a good example here. So like I got this, right? So I'm not a mage. We'll just pretend. But I could buy a runestone off of a mage, right? I can buy, the botanical matrix off of a mage. Now, I have a couple ways to do this. I could cast transmutation on this, and it's going to light up, or I can get rusty dust out. The conversion's not as great, but I can consume rusty dust to turn my appliance on as well, right? And now my greenhouse is going to run for, it looks like it's about 14 minutes, so it's 15 minutes of runtime each rusty dust. Well, you can stack up to 6 hours on this. And if you want, you can sneak and right click, and you can pause all of these too, so it stops consuming, but the effect will go away as well. Right? So I put a lot of thought into, that kind of back and forth. I'm struggling to word this properly. Important things, obelisk, runestone, could be their own thing and have single named rituals, but generic named rituals, create, destroy, convert, are for the open-ended rituals like wood, charcoal, item A, item B. I was thinking about something like that. So this is ran through my head too. Instead of having like a conversion, destruction, and creation ritual, I should just have something generic like minor ritual, right? So a minor ritual of whatever name I give it, right? And it's the same pattern, and it'll be maybe a little more complex than this little tight thing, right? So it can feel like you're still drawing out a ritual. And then really it's like whatever block you put in the middle, it just understands, right? Like this, like charcoal, like if I put firewood in the middle, it's not technically a destruction ritual. It's just a basic ritual, and that's one of it's like transmutation, right? You can cast transmutation on torches to relight them. You could cast it on leaves to, get a higher yield of sticks and get rid of your leaves. Like it's just the interaction of whatever the block or item is inside. But it's the same thing, right? So you just remember that pattern, and it won't be overly complex. I may just bump it out like one more. Just so it's, but this will be like the basic ritual, and then anything special like creating an obelisk or runestone, because those are special things, just like the ritual of corruption and purification over here. right? To make your other things. Maybe they have their own special rituals. And all this stuff, of course, will be in the guidebook, right? You'll click on this, you'll unlock things, and then you'll be like, oh, my basic rituals, advanced rituals, like whatever, whatever it is. And you click on it, and I'll have the pretty pictures of like, this is the pattern, so you'll know. Hydrate. Can do that. So I was thinking of that. I'm hoping to get some ideas, like a couple people being like, hey, you know what? That sounds like a good idea. It won't be a waste of time for you to do that. Right? Because like I'd rather build it once than build a system that I then have to take apart and build again. And then if I give it to people, right, then, they're going to have to be like retrained on it, It's like, oh, something changed. Like I have to make the ritual a different way now. Oh. So for the basic ritual, right, it could be regular torches. Maybe I also have it to where the type of torch that you put in increases the effect. Right? Because maybe firewood. Let's pull up some firewood. Because this is the other thing I was thinking about too. There we go. So why not be able to do something like this? And then maybe instead of using regular torches, if you use mana torches, this conversion rate jumps up. Right? And then if you can get hold of like the big lanterns, maybe the conversion rate jumps up to almost a 1-for-1. But, it's also taking a higher tier thing. Like, basically with these torches, if you, each time you do it would consume your torches here. I actually may make a chance to where it would either turn your torch off or just consume the torch altogether. I may roll dice, right? So it's not as bad, getting like for the payment. But with these, basically you have a chance of just having this go inert, right? And then you'll have to have a mage that has more mana, like re-imbue, right? Like do the ritual to like re-imbue these with whatever the essence is. Well, that's a really nice feeling approach. Yeah, right? So it's the same kind of ritual, right? But it's just, whatever stuff, right? If I want to convert a sapling, let's say, maybe the sapling goes in the middle. I know what pattern to draw out. I don't know. Maybe not the sapling. I don't know. Toddler Triangle says hi, Daddy. Hi. No. So yeah, I just need to know how this stuff should feel. Maybe all this stuff should be different. I don't know. Maybe because now I'm going back to, well, why not just have like the ritual of whatever it is, and maybe it's just like this is what you use to like convert firewood into like it's a fuel source, right? And then it's the same pattern depending on what torches you use, right? What your catalysts are. There's either greater effect or you can I don't know. I would love some feedback though. So if anyone could hop into Discord, give me some guidance. But I am going to call it here. I got lunch to make. I got a pool to check on. And I got a baby triangle that probably needs a big daddy tickle. All right, let's go to twitch.tv. So as soon as I get the idea of like, okay, this is how these rituals should be, doing the actual programming is going to be easy. I have everything kind of cookie cutter. It'll be easy. I was just thinking, I could have like, instead of like the ritual of creation, instead of like associating it with an essence type, what if I just say, okay, ritual of creation? Maybe I could call it like ritual of the rust or something. But maybe this simple pattern can make either an obelisk, depending on if you put it in, like the rune stone, and then you can make like, the better rune stone, right? And then the even better one, but you use the same, it's still the same like pattern, right? The same ritual of creation. And then maybe it's just like, oh, the ritual of creation can make obelisks, rune stones, and sanctums, right? We'll say something like that. And then maybe like a ritual of destruction, right? And that could be something like breaking things down into the fuel sources, right? So that's like, oh, you can turn firewood into charcoal, or charcoal into black hole, or black hole into anthracite, right? With that, but it has its own unique pattern. And then maybe the ritual of conversion will be like, okay, well, it could turn logs into resin, or it could turn saplings into a different type of sapling, or it could turn like whatever it is, right? Whatever the third thing is I make. And then I can have like the ritual of clay forming, or something like that. And that could be like, well, you could turn either fire clay into blue clay into fire clay, right? And that has its own little pattern, right? So you can look at your book and you're like, oh, cool, there are all these things I can do. And some of these I can get a better effect if I get the better torches. But each one's like its own little pattern, right? But it's not super complex. But it'll be complex enough to where it's like, okay, I could just draw out the pattern. And then once you do it a couple of times, you get used to it. Damn, Ritual of the Rust gets an old gear turning, right? And, I mean, that could be this. Instead of ritual creation, Ritual of the Rust, right? Because technically you're making your obelisk, right? Which is essence. And then your runestones. I mean, you have the ritual of corruption and the ritual of purification already to make these two things. So, I don't know, whatever it is, it just needs to make sense, because I can't keep redesigning these things and tweaking things and going back and forth. I just need like a set way, right? But the ritual system's so cool, I don't want to just drop it with like a couple of things, right? I want you to, I want you to be able to do things. Like, people, I've heard people complain that resin's hard to come by. Well, I think it'd be cool to be able to turn logs like directly into resin. I think that'd be neat. That would help people who are like, I can't find resin anywhere to do anything. Yeah, magical getting items and more. It's nice, like someone who wants to collect everything have 100%, have to 100% it. Yeah. Sense of progression. All right, so let's find someone. Oh my God. I just look over, so I got Twitch on the other side here. And it's like some dude who is, I don't know what this guy is doing or talking about. He looks like a douchebag a little bit. But I just glance over and it's this tatted guy up, and he just stood up, and he had like the shortest short shorts that I've seen in a long time. He's like picking out his wedgie. I'm just like, oh, why did I have to look over at that time? Why? Just stay sitting, dude. Just, no one wants to see that. Like, come on, man. Who was playing Vintage Story? Ugh, I put a bad taste in my mouth. Conversion of different blocks and items. It's just such a great idea conceptually. And this mod could really let you feel like a wizard when messing with that stuff. Yes. I'm gonna stop the stream with this. We're gonna go into the other world. That's what I want. I want you to feel like a wizard. I want you to get the basic wands. I want you to, like, that's basic magic. The grimoires are now like advanced magic. You know, like there's the world magic, right, in the form of rituals. I want multiple things. I want you to feel like the world has magic in numerous places, and it's just yours for the taking. You know, and then it depends, right? If you want to pursue magic, you should get rewards for it, right? And the more powerful buffs, more powerful conversion rates, right? Better conversion rates. I just want to show off this achievement. Hold on, let's get a knife. So one of the achievements is for harvesting your first rift plume. So a rusty discovery. Let's open up the achievements. Appear beyond the veil, right? Use rusty dust. I don't have to do that. I can just use my new admin tool. I finally did it, everyone. I have an admin tool dedicated to just unlocking magic. Finally. So I got the peer beyond the veil, right? And now a proper workbench. You just have to craft a thaumic workbench, which is going to be a log. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. A log, I need mage weave. There we go. GM1. So some of the stuff you have to actually like craft to get your achievements. Some things you could just pick up. Crap, is this it? Shoot. Oh, wait, that's leaking. That's not, that's an admin only block. Hold on. GM2. Log. There, I just want the regular log. GM1. There we go. Right, so create your thaumic workbench. You get an achievement there, proper workbench. Let's go into here. We have to create Arcanus, craft Arcanus. And the idea with this is like, okay, you know, like, how do I make a thaumic workbench? Thaumic workbench. This is it. Tells you everything about it right in here. Magical crafting, any of the materials, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with Arcanus, right? So you're like, well, how do I craft Arcanus? So I could type it in. Here's Arcanus. This is the recipe. Requires the unlocked magic trait. Thaumic workbench only, right? So I have to go in here, get my rusty dust. Get a bunch of those. I need the compound. There we go. Bam. New source of power. The next achievement. This is where you make your wand. I was feeling the Harry Potter. So, you're a wizard, Harry. Craft a wand for spell casting. Right? So I had to do it. I had to. But, you know, and then you just kind of keep unlocking things, right? But this is pretty quick now, right? So you kind of make your thing, your first power source, and then it's like, oh, create a wand for spellcasting. You can make any wand. You just type in wand. You got your wand of ignite, watering dew, blah, blah, blah. You can make a basic wand. That's your transmutation wand, right? Thaumic workbench only. This is what it takes. Nice and simple. So that's it. And there's the other wand too. Like if you look like the other basic wand, if you use bone, you get more durability. It's a stronger wand. Right? But, you know, progression. But I just wanted to show off that achievement because, you know, I like Harry Potter. Let's see. Yeah, magical items, conversion rates of blocks and items. Such a great idea. Yep. Explode everything as well. Bernardo came right at the end of the stream, as usual, rolling in to finish out the party, huh? My staff is done. Is that what I just heard? Nope, your staff is not done. there is a magical knife. There is no magical knife. I was thinking about making magic themed like tools, like a knife, an axe, a shovel, and a pickaxe. So I was thinking about doing that, but I'm not sure what that looks like yet. If I were to do that, it would be much higher. This is not my creative world, but it'd probably be like tier 2 or 3. And I mean, and I would want it to do like a 3x3 area when you mine. Like that would be the goal. This is great. Simple visual intro. Let the player go look up in the guide. Yeah, right. And then for anything like milestones, which are going to be these icons, you'll get a guide over here, right? So because you unlocked magic, Peer Beyond the Veil, you unlocked magic. Now you have this, right? And I can click on it, and it'll be like, yeah, unlock magic. You'll have your little intro, like, you'll understand. Like, I'm going to change all this out, right? So it's not going to be like create a spellcasting tool and everything. It's going to be like, this is mana, this is meditation, how you get back mana, your conversion rates, right? Things like that, right? Where your mana bar is, blah, blah, blah. So, and that will be like the supplemental guide of like, hey, I just, like, for wands, right? I just unlocked the wand, right? So at that point, let me just make it fast. GM1. Because I got it all here, stick this and this, right? So I make a basic, see, this isn't my personal crafting table. Can't make them there. You got to do it through the workbench. This is how I'm making it to where non-magic users, like, it irked me before that in my old mod, the old version of it. Non-magic users could make like all the magical stuff, right? They just couldn't, they could even like make mana torches infinitely if they want. Not anymore. You're a wizard, Harry. Let's see, like ancient world magic. Craft magic chalk to unlock rituals. So now that I unlock this, I would have this, right? Casting spells. And you would click on this, and it would say, like, okay, this is what wands are, right? Right click, hold still. This is how you actually cast your spells. It takes up mana, gives you magic experience, blah, 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 right? So you can, as you unlock different things in the mod, you can read. Now, if someone just gave you this after you unlock magic, you'll be able to cast spells. You just won't have the guide or the achievement till you make your own stuff. And if you try to skip achievements, like, nothing's going to prevent you from making a basic wand. So you could jump right into it before you make Arcanus. Maybe a friend gives you Arcanus. You just won't unlock the achievement. Like, you have to make Arcanus, and then you have to make your own wand. So, and of course, so it kind of just guides you through your personal journey, right? Once you unlock this, you'll get another thing, and that's where you could click here, and then you'll see all your rituals and the patterns and the shapes and, how you make your obelisk, and that leads into the next achievement, which is making the obelisk, right? To unlock essence and essence generation. So more of a natural flow. And then eventually you get into, like, grimoire, spell research, synthesis, synthesizing grimoires, and then using a sanctum and one of the advanced mage staffs. And the idea is you can have an advanced mage staff that has more powerful spells. I think what I'm also going to do is, let's pull out one. Because I want you to still use wands. The wands are pretty good. They're kind of like your flat tire spells, but they're really low mana cost. An actual decent staff, though. The decent staff will give you more spell haste, so you'll be able to cast your spells faster than with a wand. Excuse me. Transmutation, I think, will be different. I think instead of a 3x3 area, I may do a 5x5 area for that, right? So it's like, even though it's still the same cheapy cheap, and you can cast it faster, right? So that instead of a 5-second cast, that was a 4-second. If I get one of, like, the Archmage staff, Transmutation only takes 2 seconds, right? So the idea is, like, if I don't want to waste, the durability on my good staff, I can put powerful spells in here, memorize them, and then just keep a couple wands on me, right? Like, maybe an attack wand, maybe a wand to light a fire, right? Insufficient mana. So I want you to have options. Okay, who is playing Vintage Store? Hey, Wasteland Puppy. I think I'm following that guy. He's playing Vintage Story. He doesn't play Vintage Story too often. I haven't really watched a lot of his streams. I think a lot of, you know what? I used to follow him. I used to. I thought he played games that I'd like to see, but he definitely plays, like, I think he was playing like truck simulator stuff, and I'm like, those aren't my jam. So let's find someone else. Here we go. Building Winery Base. Centurion. You know what? We're going to go for it. We're rating this guy. Boom, 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 boom. / raid. Centurion. So again, everyone, might as well hit enter here. There we go. So again, I have, my own personal Discord here. Let's pop that in there. If you have any ideas for, like, what ritual should look like, just from, like, everything that's said, it would help immensely. We still got a couple polls ticking in there too about, like, if how obelisk should be created, and runestones. The achievements, if you have any suggestions on, like, different ways to do the achievement system, I'm all ears. This is just, we're nearing the end. What if someone can help nail down the idea of, like, hey, rituals should be like this, and this is the feel, and it feels good, and I can just go for it. I mean, we could, in a day, I could have the alpha done. This is literally the last step. We need to nail down what the ritual system looks like. How do you make your obelisk? How do you make your runestones with rituals? That's all I need to know. Well, all right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. I'm not sure if I'm going to be live streaming again. We'll see. We'll see. I got work tomorrow, so we will see. But think about it. Let me know the feedback in Discord, and have a great day, everyone. Bye.